Imagine screaming in your sleep, begging your family never to let you close your eyes because you know something is hunting you in your dreams. Your family thinks it's just stress, but when exhaustion finally wins and you fall asleep, you drop dead in your bed. No explanation, no signs of violence. This isn't a movie script. It actually happened. Here's 3 real events that inspired 3 horror classics. Back in the late 1970s, doctors began reporting something terrifying happening to refugees who had escaped war in Southeast Asia. Many of them had survived horrific violence and trauma before arriving in America. But once they got here, something even stranger started happening. Healthy young men were suddenly dying in their sleep. Families described hearing them scream in the middle of the night. Some thrashed violently in bed. Others begged not to fall asleep at all. A few became so terrified of sleeping that they stayed awake for days. They believed that something was waiting for them in their dreams. One story told of a man who refused to sleep for nearly a week because he claimed a dark presence was hunting him every night he closed his eyes. His family tried calming him down, believing it was stress and trauma from the war. But eventually, exhaustion won. He finally fell asleep, but I'm not sure if that's a good thing, because, according to reports, he began screaming in terror before suddenly dying in his bed. How does that happen? There were no signs of violence, and there's no clear explanation. Some doctors blamed stress-induced heart failure. Others called it unexpected nocturnal death syndrome. But for many families, the explanation felt far more disturbing. Years later, those terrifying stories inspired Wes Craven to create Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street. But while that horror came from nightmares, the next story came from something very real lurking beneath the water. During the summer of 1916, the beaches of New Jersey were packed with tourists trying to escape brutal heat waves. At the time, people believed shark attacks were incredibly rare. Some experts even claimed sharks didn't attack humans at all. That belief shattered after a young man named Charles Vincent was attacked while swimming near the shore. Witnesses watched in horror as the water around him turned red. Lifeguard Alexander Ott and bystander Sheridan Taylor jumped into the ocean to rescue Charles. They both swam and pulled the bleeding man to the beach, but the shark was so aggressive that it reportedly followed them almost to the water's edge before letting go. Vincent had his left thigh torn off and tragically bled to death on the manager's desk at the Ingleside Hotel shortly after. Just days after that, another swimmer was killed. Fear spread quickly, but people still kept getting into the ocean. Then things became even worse. A shark somehow made its way into a creek connected to the ocean, where several boys were swimming. One of them, an 11-year-old boy named Lester Stillwell, vanished underwater during the attack. When a man jumped in trying to save him, he ended up getting attacked as well. Panic exploded across the country. Newspapers described a man-eating sea monster hunting along the coast. Beaches emptied overnight. Some towns even organized shark hunts out of pure fear. The idea that something massive and unstoppable could attack anyone in the water terrified America for years. And decades later, those real attacks helped inspire Steven Spielberg to direct Jaws, a PG-rated film, by the way, that scared more people than R-rated films, which is kind of crazy to think about. As horrifying as that one was, the final one feels too disturbing to believe. So real quick, this next one is technically a legend, but every dark legend is born from a horrifying truth. Deep in Scottish legend, stories began spreading about a man named Sonny Bean and his family centuries ago. According to the tale, the family lived hidden inside a massive coastal cave isolated from society for years, but they weren't surviving by farming or hunting animals. Legends say that they survived by ambushing travelers in the dark. People would disappear without explanation. Entire groups reportedly vanished while traveling roads near the coast. Over time, rumors spread that something monstrous was hiding in the wilderness. The stories claimed the family dragged victims back into the cave, robbed them, murdered them, and even cannibalized their bodies. Some versions of the legend say the family grew to dozens of people over generations, all living together in complete isolation, surrounded by human remains. For years, nobody supposedly discovered the truth because there were never enough survivors left behind to explain what happened. Until one night, a man and a woman were attacked while traveling on horseback. The man fought back long enough for other travelers nearby to notice the attack and scare the killers away. That survivor's story allegedly led authorities to the hidden cave. And according to legend, what they found inside was horrifying. Human body parts hanging from walls, piles of stolen belongings, and evidence of years of murder hidden underground. Whether the full story is true or partly exaggerated, over time, the terrifying idea of a violent cannibal family living isolated from the world would go on to inspire Wes Craven to write and direct the 1977 horror classic, The Hills Have Eyes. Honestly, knowing these stories were inspired by real events make them so much scarier. But it makes you wonder, if you were trapped in the middle of a dark, isolated cave system in Scotland, or stranded in the pitch black ocean with a great white shark beneath you, which nightmare scenario are you going to choose to survive? Let me know in the comments right now, because personally, the ocean terrifies me. If you love uncovering the dark real-life mysteries behind the films you watch, make sure to hit subscribe. Don't let your screen go dark just yet. Click on the video on your screen right now to deep dive into another terrifying case. Until next time, stay safe out there.